Good afternoon, everybody, from a sweltering and hot and humid Israel. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, brought to you as always by Lay of the Land. And it's not just the weather that's hot, it's everything that's going on in the country. So a lot to unpack now. I'm going to get right to it. Today has been declared a day of disruption or day of resilience, depending on what side of the argument you stand on. Mass protests have occurred across the country and are ongoing. They started early this morning with road closures or roadblocks from between Modi into Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, both north and south sides of the Ayalon, the northern Tel Aviv Kakal interchange, Haifa Road 2, just outside Netanya. A tented little city was set up in Herzliya that has been since removed. However, even though there have been disruptions to traffic, most of the protesters have stopped blocking the road. As we speak, about 300 protesters are protesting at Ben Gurion Airport. Earlier today, Israel's Attorney General gave the go-ahead for this, saying that it is a public place and you have to respect people's democratic rights to protest. But the day hasn't been all peaceful. Some protesters have clashed with police as they have endeavored to block the roads, a practice that has been roundly condemned. There have been clashes in Tel Aviv. One mounted police was caught on camera allegedly trampling a victim. It is unclear what the victim's condition is. We know at least 42 people have been arrested during the course of today. Police have also been using water cannons. There have been appeals over the last couple of days by doctors and specialists appealing to the police, please not to use water cannons. The pressure and the force of the water could cause significant damage to a human. One protester from a couple of weeks ago already has lost his eyesight. We have also had comments coming in from Israel's largest labor union, the Histadrut. Earlier today, a comment was made that they will not be engaging in the protest. They prefer rather to engage in negotiations and make sure that a wide or broad-based agreement is met. However, there were protests outside the headquarters of the Histadrut in Tel Aviv, but with protests imploring the Histadrut to join in. In a statement to protest, the Director General said that he calls on Netanyahu to end the chaos in society. Earlier today, Reserve Air Force pilots speaking to the Air Force commander said, "We have signed up to serve the kingdom, not the king," and have threatened to go on strike. This follows 300 cyber reservists, I'm going to get to that in a moment, who have also said that they will go on strike. Meanwhile, the first reading of the reasonableness clause was passed for overhaul last night. This is a very controversial issue because if it does pass, it removes a judicial inspection from government officials, and many say this could lead to all kinds of corruptions and the removal of vital checks and balances that hold politicians accountable. Now, as I just mentioned, 300 cyber reservists have said that they will not serve should these overhauls continue to be passed. They warned that the passing of the reasonableness clause is one step in Israel becoming a corrupt, backward and weak state. They also warned of the importance of not allowing very, very sensitive cyber information and capabilities getting into the hands of the wrong politicians. By this, we could mean they are referring to the more extreme elements within the Israeli government. Israel's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Broad's department, have been trying to get hold of at least 120 Israelis who are believed to be in India. There is concern for their safety following widespread storms which have caused floods. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs have said that they will continue to try and reach the stranded Israelis. And South African soccer/football team, I know people use different terminologies in different countries. Orlando Pirates have said no to BDS. Orlando Pirates are two of South Africa's football teams that are due to meet or play against Maccabi Tel Aviv in Spain next week in a friendly. In a statement released yesterday, Orlando Pirates said that while they certainly can empathize with the Palestinian cause and that it is imperative for everybody to take a stand with leadership, they will continue to play against Maccabi Tel Aviv, saying there is no FIFA policy of boycott against Israel or Israeli teams, and there is no South African foreign policy boycott against Israel or any Israeli teams. There is no official sports boycott against Israel. Now, of course, as you all know, because you've been watching the Israel Brief, Israel is very much not an apartheid state. That is a slur drummed up by the boycott, divestment and sanctions movement to try and paint Israel as a pariah state and isolate her from the rest of the world and call into question her legitimacy as the nation state of the Jewish people. Meanwhile, South Africa's ruling ANC have said that they are concerned that Orlando Pirates will face off against Maccabi Tel Aviv but will not push for a boycott. This has, of course, no doubt angered BDS South Africa, who have put an enormous amount of pressure on Orlando Pirates, and they have said that this is whitewashing sports. Well, I will remind BDS South Africa that nothing is more unifying than people coming together in friendly sports competition. And this brings me to the end of today's edition of the Israel Brief. Don't forget to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. Our Facebook community is at Lottel Site. Like us, follow us, join us, and share us. We are on YouTube. Our channel is at the Israel Brief. Click on that red subscribe button. Like us, follow us, comment, and share us. And we are on Twitter at layoftheland5. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief. Don't forget to join me again tomorrow for another swelteringly hot edition of the Israel Brief.